Hey, this is Brian from Drone Art. I haven't been on for the last at least week or so. The weather just hasn't been right. I haven't been able to have any videos. Just basically a lot of rain, some snow, and not all that much time. So eventually I'll be able to throw out some more videos and add some pixie dust to them. However, I wanted to put out a video today to discuss something that I don't think really comes up that much on YouTube. And as a novice, I actually kind of need your help because most of the people who watch this know a lot more about drones than I do. And again, the topic is line of sight. And, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I started watching videos about drones, and I saw all these clips from people going 12,000 feet in the air and maybe even higher. I think one was probably 19,000 feet from Russia. And at the time, I thought it was fascinating and amazing that you could go up that high and take videos. But as it turned out, after purchasing a drone and registering my drone, you know that there are certain regulations for the safety of all, and they're really, really important. And if you think about it, when you put a drone up very, very high, number one, you can't see it. And number two, when you're looking down from that perspective, thousands and thousands of feet up, I personally don't find that type of video all that exciting anyway. So any height between 1 foot and 400 is fine with me because you can see a lot more. Again, my opinion. However, there's a problem, and as you know, the Spark is the one that I have. The Spark is roughly the size of a phone, and when you take the Spark up 400 feet and maybe go out, maybe say 100 yards or 200 yards, it's very, very difficult to see, and you have to keep your line of sight, and that apparently means you can't have any accessories to see further. You have to see it with your eyes, and if you can't see it, it's not in the line of sight, even if you see it on your remote or on your phone. So I believe the Spark has a distance limit of 1.2 kilometers, and at that distance you wouldn't see it because I put this thing up, and again, at around 200 yards distance, I can't see it. In fact, now that I think of it, the only time I ever took it up at night, I took it straight up 400 feet and it was at my property. When I took it out up at night, that was the only time I could clearly see it at 400 feet. And that was because of the blinking lights. It was actually easier at night. Now, of course, I don't really want to take up the drone at night because the sensors obviously need daylight to be able to notice anything. And if you hit a wire or you hit a branch, and I've got plenty of that around my house, as you can see behind me, you run the risk of destroying your drone or at least causing some damage needing repair, and it's not cheap. And some of the other drones, the higher level drones from whatever company, and there are plenty of them, but as an example, the DJI Air and the Mavic Air and the Mavic Pro. Again, I'm a novice, so I don't really know these that well. I know they go farther, obviously, than the Spark, and some of them go 4 or 5 miles, especially with that OcuSync. But if you can't see it, I mean, it's still nice that it can go out that far and you can see it on your phone. But if you can't see it, technically you're violating the rules. And if something does go wrong, I mean, you're screwed. Who would want? I mean, look, I told you from my previous video that, the thing, like some electrical malfunction, it went straight down. And what if that happens, a mile away, or some type of bird knocks into it and then it goes down? You're in trouble, especially if you're over a highway or something like that. So I take these rules very, very seriously because I can kind of see in the future what could happen. And it wasn't always like that when I first got the drone. I mean, I couldn't take it up over 400 feet. But again, I was fascinated by that idea of taking it up 12,000 feet. And I was so stupid because, obviously now I realize it's really dangerous, and it's taking a chance. So I guess what I wanted to ask you, the viewer, because you probably know a hell of a lot more about drones than I do. How do you handle that? Because when you use the remote controller in your phone, at least in the case with the Spark, you're constantly going back and forth. You see it, then you look up there, see, back and forth. And all you have to do is continually look at your phone with the image, and then you're going to lose it up there. So what do you do? I mean, it is very, very convenient to see it on a controller. I mean, I can see it perfectly. And if you don't lose GPS or transmission, you're fine. But technically, again, you're violating FAA regulations. And it seems like they're only going to get tougher as more and more problems occur. You get a few people that screw it up for the rest of us who do it right. So I guess what I'm asking you folks, if you could, leave a comment in the comment section, and I'd really appreciate it. I'm not just doing this for fun. Do you actually, do what I do, go back and forth, or do you just trust what you see on the telephone, with your DJI 4 app, or do you just say, I'm just going to use my eyeballs, and that's as far as it goes, and that's it? Or do you take it out farther? Because, it is something that, there is some incentive for going farther. You purchased, like say the Mavic Pro or the Mavic Air, and you'd like to see the scenery, and maybe you need to go out farther. But do you take the chance? That's just something I'm not ready for yet, not after 3 months. I'd like to be able to take this thing and, take it out a half mile or 3/4 of a mile and then bring it back. But I've got to know that it's going to work. And with one bad accident that I've had, it intimidates me. And I have a lot of trust in this. I really do trust this thing. I don't trust myself. That's the problem. So anyway, I'll be back as soon as the weather breaks and I can get some nice videos and add some things to the video back there. And by the way, what I do is, I'm usually adding different color things and some filters on the videos, which kind of works for me because this is a 1080. So when you're adding a filter, it's kind of messing with the clarity anyway. I wouldn't necessarily need a 4K camera. I'm not suggesting that this is better than having a 4K drone, but it does its job. You can. There are some advantages to having a camera like this and a drone like this over the other two. I'm not saying I wouldn't like the other two. So anyway, I think that's pretty much for video today. I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you next time.